All right, well, let's go over your action plan. This is one of the biggest steps. This is where we get everything down in writing, explain start to finish everything we're going to do to get the doors of the business open, right? Um, I'm one of the people that believes in writing is so important. There's a lot of reasons why it's important. One is the whole mental thing of saying it, doing it, hearing it, that kind of thing, right? So you're hearing it from me, you're doing it by writing it down. And then, when you read it out loud, that kind of stuff, that just helps kind of solidify it in your head. On top of that, it just gets everything in one place so you can remember it. So I love it. Going over the action plan, so, starting a home service business requires detailed, step by step approach. The action plan worksheet will help you break down the tasks, set timelines, and track your progress as you launch your business. All right. Like I said, it's just everything you need, helps you kind of figure it out. The idea behind a lot of these is to put a deadline on them so that you don't lose track of what you're doing, you don't be stagnant, you get everything done. It's an action plan, right? So I've filled this one out as an example business, Green Thumb Lawn Care. There's examples in all of these. Attached at the bottom is this example one as well as the blank one. So if you want to print it out, you want to write it, you want to open it in Google Docs or Word, fill it all out, whatever you want to do. It may not seem like it, but this really is one of the most important things you'll do that will be the groundwork, the foundation for the rest of your business, and making sure that everything we do is efficient and the right way, that we're not cutting corners or anything like that. So, define your business idea, right? Business name, Green Thumb Lawn Care. Okay. So, in the next courses, we go over actually naming your business, coming up with that kind of stuff. Some of the main stuff you need to do with the business name is you're going to need to go to your state's website and see if that LLC has been taken already. You'll want to check trademarks, check Google, check Facebook, those kinds of things. Make sure that this isn't something that already exists, right? If Green Thumb Lawn Care already exists, it's not a great business name. I mean, in your state, if it's the LLC, you can't even have it. But make sure it doesn't exist so that it's one of a kind, right? You don't want it to be anything crazy, hard to remember, but you want it to be one of a kind. So Green Thumb Lawn Care is what I've come up with. Like saying in the later courses, we go over naming it and picking it, that a little bit of the details of what. But for now, if you haven't done that, if you're not doing the paid program, come up with a business name, check, make sure it's not used. Business type. This particular business is lawn care. There's in step one, there's the list of businesses, right? And I told you to really think about your future, what you want to do. This is why we got to fill all this out. Hopefully you picked a home service business from that, and this one happens to be lawn care. It could be window washing, whatever it is for you. And then you go over your target market, right? Again, in the later steps, we go over this in detail, but if you want to do it yourself, you don't have the money, you're not interested in the premium course, this at least gets you a start on everything you need. So this particular target market, again, the coolest thing about all of this is use ChatGTP to your advantage, right? So such a huge advantage for ChatGTP to help you fill out all these different things. So let's give it a try. Okay. So let's say, what is the target market for a lawn care company in SLC, Utah? Okay, let's see what it says. There you go. Lays out everything for you, right? Demographic, key needs, challenges, all that stuff, which is fantastic. This is actually cool too because it does homeowner and residential, and then real estate and property managers. These are actually different markets within the same industry, right? So commercial, HOAs. So you could focus on one, or when we do your list of services and things like that, you might have two demographics that you work towards. When I was in HVAC, I did a ton of residential, But one of the biggest thing I did was a property management company. They were the bulk of the work that came into us was one company with hundreds and hundreds of homes that I went and I serviced. Commercial, if that's something you choose to do, there's obviously, pros and cons to doing commercial work. But then, anything new homes, things like that. So that is why ChatGTP is awesome. I will say this 1,000 times. Don't use this to just write everything. You need it to be you. You need it to be what you want. You need to believe in it. But it at least gives you a good idea. It helps you break up the target market, right? When we do the marketing stuff and we go over who your market is, we'll go more in detail. We'll want to research, people in your area, actual companies, do the research. This at least gives you an idea to get it on paper so we can get this action plan out, right? Okay. So I have this one laid out. Homeowners 30 to 55 with household income of 50,000 to 120,000 per year. Primary located in the suburban areas around Salt Lake City, Utah, right? So that can also be, you can have, for me, it could be Salt Lake City, Cottonwood Heights, Park City, those areas, depending on how far you want to span out. You can open up a map. You can kind of look at the areas, say these are the, more high-end homes, these are lower-end homes. This is where high-density development is, whatever it is that your niche is looking to meet. You can pick a few of those out. You can list them here. You don't just have to have, Salt Lake City, which is the biggest city in Utah, right? We're looking for people that are interested in home improvement, landscaping, and garden care, right? Families and busy professionals who lack the time or expertise for lawn care, right? The reason we're doing it is because they can or they don't want to, right? So what is your unique selling proposition, right? USP. What makes your service stand out from competitors? This one here, I've listed the eco-friendly route that, maybe we use organic fertilizers, that our trucks are low emission, things like that. There's thousands of them. It could be that you give them a cup of coffee every time you come to do a service at their house, right? Some things are too gimmicky, but something like eco-friendly and the chemical-free and stuff, great. People love that, obviously, today's day and age. All right, so then we go on to your legal and administrative setup. That's, choosing your legal structure, LLC, corporation, sole proprietor. I'm going to push towards LLC. It's the way to go with this kind of business. Sole proprietor, your personal assets, your home, all your personal stuff, if you get sued or you cause enough damage, they can go after your stuff, right? Whereas an LLC, they can only go after stuff that is part of the LLC. All right, so then you need to register your business. Register your business name, file the documents. That's all part of getting the LLC. We'll go over all that. There's a few steps. Each state's a little bit different, but there's a general way that you get an LLC from your state, okay? Then we're going to apply for an EIN. That's through the IRS. So we're going to go to the IRS website. We're going to apply for that EIN so we can have employees and we can do employee stuff. Obtain the necessary license and permits. So these little colons are where you can write dates on all of these, right? So you can say that, I want to choose my legal structure by today. So, 11/15. And then I'm going to register my business and I want that done by the end of the week. Depends on the state. So we'll say that needs to be by 11/25. Apply for an EIN. Put dates on all these. Keep yourself accountable. So then we're going to open a business banking account. You'll need your EIN for that. Obviously, your LLC name, those kinds of things. Open your banking account. Date there. And then set up your accounting and bookkeeping system. I go over in depth QuickBooks. It's what I used. It's what I prefer. It's one of the biggest names in the industry. There are other ones that are really good. I will focus on QuickBooks. I think it's the easiest. I think when it comes to your taxes and, if you have an accountant that you're working with that's doing your actual accounting, it's easy to send stuff from QuickBooks to your accountant. It does payroll, all that stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. Next, we're going to define your service and pricing. There's a whole section over services and those things later on. But really, with your services and pricing, what are you offering? How much is it going to be? What kind of pricing platform are you going to use, right? So in this company, lawn mowing service, we do it weekly, bi-weekly, or seasonal, right? Lawn fertilization, it's organic fertilization for healthy green lawns. We do aeration and overseeding, lawn and weed control, spring and fall cleanups, right? So those are kind of the basic services that we offer as a lawn care company. And then your pricing strategy. So are you going to do flat rate, $40 a mow? Are you going to do monthly subscriptions, quarterly? Are you going to do hourly, a service hour, things like that? For a lawn care company, most of the time it makes the most sense. Hey, we'll do your house for, $40 each time we come and provide the service, right? So you can create service packages, bundles, things, this one, basic lawn care package, full lawn maintenance package. You can do seasonal ones. You can do your, winter cleanup, fall cleanup before, the snow hits, depending on where you live. Next is market research, right? So this is where we were talking about, you want to review 5 local lawn care companies or whatever it is that you're doing. And you want to see what their prices are, what their services are, what their customers think of the services, what they focus on. This is where you're going to get your bang for your buck instead of spinning your wheels on some dead end thing that no one cares about, right? So if hedge trimming isn't profitable, no one wants their hedges trimmed, why offer the service, right? So marketing and branding, this is where you're going to develop your brand identity, your logo, your color scheme, your taglines, all that stuff. Logo we'll come up with. There's a whole walkthrough in the paid course where you can learn, different ways to create logos, things like that. Color scheme doesn't seem important, but when you're creating all your documents, when you're laying out Facebook, when you're doing those things, having your color scheme, having an actual palette with actual color numbers makes a huge difference. I'll show you how to do all that. Makes it so easy to make everything cohesive, right? And then your tagline. You can use ChatGPT to come up with this. This one, the greener lawn naturally, right? So a lot of times, like if you look at the handyman logo here, master your business, right? So this is my company's name, and this is my little tagline or slogan, right? And then I have my established on here as well. All right. So then building your website, there's lots of different tools you can use for this. There's one particular I use that's part of my CRM. I love it. Easy, straightforward stuff. But there are so many out there. You can have one built for you too as well. And then you'll include in the website all of this stuff we're coming up with, right? And we'll go over that later. Walk through all the details, everything you should have in there, your calls to action, all your advertising, things like that. Then set up your social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Nextdoor, any of those apps that you're going to use to help advertise and bring people into your sales funnel, bring people to your business, right? Creating marketing materials. So this is great. This goes again with the template thing, being able to set up a template, have everything. Then when you're doing your business cards, your flyers, having your logos, everything available, it's so quick. It takes zero time to throw together a flyer or, a brochure or something you need for your business that's going to sell and make you look more professional, right? So again, put some deadlines on here. After that, you're going to work on building your email list. That's part of your sales funnel. If you can collect emails on your website and start the email campaign, the CRM I'm going to show you later on, you can set up automatic email campaigns. So as soon as somebody shows interest in your website, gives the email, it sends an email. 5 minutes later, sends another email. However you decide to do it, it's fantastic. So emails are huge. It is definitely not a dead art. Using emails for your advertising, emails to get stuff out. And then when you have customers, getting invoices to them, estimates to them, things like that. Collecting emails is big. So build your email list, right? So the next step is developing a marketing strategy. What channels will you use to attract your customers, right? So nowadays, social media, the internet, huge. But as far as local businesses go, as far as your age range goes, Are people still watching the news? Are people still getting flyers? Are people still getting mail? Absolutely. Paper flyers is huge, especially when you're starting a home service business. That's a quick, easy, cheap way to get your name out there to people in your area, right? So are we using social media advertising like Facebook and Instagram, Google Ads, flyers, postcard, again, the email campaign, daily emails, weekly emails? You can set up so that there's constant contact with your customers so that, when you finish a job, they get an email that says, hey, how did we do? Can you fill out this survey? Here's 10% off for next time. Email campaigns are huge. It's something you definitely want to do. This constant contact is huge, keeping your name in their mind. So when they need a service like yours, you're the first person they think of, right? So then set up Google business listing. We go over all that. Google's real particular about certain things that they want on there. But again, if you have your logos and everything, it's actually relatively pretty easy. Setting up a review strategy is pretty straightforward. Again, with the constant contact, if you have customers after jobs and they're sending reviews, things like that, reviews on your website, when your guys go out to a job and customers like, hey, we did a fantastic job. I loved everything you did. Make sure your guys are sending them review emails or asking them, hey, go to Facebook, put that on Facebook. You don't know how much of a difference that'll make for my company for a customer to say how well we're doing, right? So there's so many ways to get reviews, quick and easy. Reviews sell because if the lady next door said it was good, then I'm going to believe her a lot more than this guy that's just trying to get one over on me and sell me his business, right? So operations and logistics, buy necessary equipment and supplies. This can be very complex. This is something that, if you're starting a lawn company, right? There are so many lawn companies out there where they went under, they changed businesses, whatever. You can buy a trailer with the mowers, the trimmers, the blowers, all that stuff on it, ready to go, right? So you can look on Facebook Marketplace, or you can look on, here in Utah KSL, and you can get all of that pretty much all at once. If your only job is just mowing lawns, then you need maybe a single lawnmower. Maybe it's just you don't have employees yet, right? So depending on what your service is, depending on what you provide, depending on employees, this can be as simple as a lawnmower. This can be as much as 20 trucks, all the equipment to outfit them, a business front, those kinds of things. Obviously, the amount of money you have to start up is a huge factor in this. So the next thing you'll do is you'll set up a scheduling system. Google is a great way to set up a scheduling system. I can show you here at my Handyman Corner website. So I have the book one-on-one free call, right? This is a fantastic system. I can go in, I can show when I'm available. So if you have, guys that are going out and they're just doing bids for a new service, you can have this on your website. Set up your 30-minute appointment for us to come out and do a free bid, right? So anything that makes it easier for the customer, they're more likely to do. And we'll get into that. I mean, just as far as your business practices go too, I know in HVAC, if they didn't have the filter and they had to go to the store to buy the filter, they're so much less likely to do it. They'll do it tomorrow, they'll put it off. But if the filters are there, it's not that hard, right? To just change out a filter. So making things easier for them is going to make them more likely to do it. So with the calendar, if when they're looking at your website, they see all the cool stuff and they want to sign up to get a bid for the lawn care service you do, that's where they can come here. They can pick their day. They can pick their time. Mine, when they click submit, it has a little survey with their name, what they're interested in. You can do the same stuff here. So if we click on this, comes up name, email, phone number, right? These are questions that have to do with my company, but instead of asking, how certain are you? What are you interested in? What services are you looking for? Are you looking for annual? How big is your house? Whatever it is that works for you, right? You can set up the scheduling system however you want. QuickBooks has it, their online version. If you pay a little bit more, there's a lot of stuff for service techs. You can do their scheduling, dispatching, things like that. As far as a simple Google Calendar is an awesome way to go with that kind of stuff. So, Square, I used Square before for taking payments. Loved them. Loved that they're equal across the board. There are so many payment systems out there, but a lot of them do scheduling and things like that as well. Again, we talked about integrating into the website. That was where I showed you on my website. Easy peasy. So as before, determine your service area. This is, like I said, Salt Lake City, Mill Creek, Murray, West Valley, South Salt Lake, Park City. How far are you willing to travel? Salt Lake, like everywhere, has some very distinct areas, right? The Mill Creek area, Cottonwood Heights, Park City, those are high-end customers. Those are high-end homes. So are you looking for quality over quantity? Are you looking for some of the more high-end places? Or are you just looking for as many customers as you can get to get your guys out and mow lawns? Then, you may just do the surrounding areas, less travel, less gas. So going on to hiring staff, right? We're going to decide, are we hiring staff? How soon do we want that to be done? Do we have an open date for the company where your guys are going to have their first day? They have to have training, things like that. I do a whole section on employees. Employees are huge. You need them, but there's so much to know about employees. There's so much to know about training, paying them, taxes, if they make mistakes, anything like that. There's a whole section on this later. For now, do you want employees? Are you planning on hiring them right away? Are you going to do the business by yourself for the first year and then you're going to hire some after that? So we go over that, but what are you going to do? So I have listed here, I want to hire 2 part-time lawn care workers to start. I'm going to post it on Indeed, wherever you want to post it. I'm going to interview candidates for customer service skills and experience, right? Simple. This is just getting it out, what you need to do so that it feels less overwhelming. This isn't a huge thing. Creating these companies are just legwork. They're just doing one thing after another. It's not rocket science. It doesn't take an expert. It's just going through the steps. If you follow the plan, it'll work. Okay. So then you're going to train staff. Like I said, this whole thing, you need to have SOPs, OSHA stuff, things like that. Depending on what your business is, there's going to be specific trainings to them. Then customer service stuff. How to use QuickBooks. Are they doing their invoicing? How to communicate with customers? Things like that. So then what are your customer service protocols going to be? How will you handle complaints, service issues, things like that, right? Are you going to have a hotline? Mom and pop, when you first start up, say you're an 18-year-old guy that's starting your lawn care company, 18-year-old girl, you're not going to have a 24-hour hotline, right? You're going to answer your phone when it rings. People are going to leave messages. You're going to call back. This is more, how are you going to handle these, right? And we do a whole section on, when you have upset customers, things you can do to improve, giving discounts, if it's something that can be just remow it, whatever it is, right? How are you going to handle your customer complaints? Then our launch strategy is our next step. Social media launch, I have a whole section on your first launch. You pick a date. Here's the random date that I picked. This is the official day that you're going to start attempting to operate. In this case, mow lawns, do lawn care, right? During the social media launch, we'll go over promotions, discounts, special packages, things like that for new customers. First 100 customers get 1 free lawn mow, whatever it is. So here I have launch special, 15% off all lawn care services for the first 3 months, right? So if you have a business front, right? Say you're going to have an HVAC place, but you're going to sell filters and things like that out of the front. You're going to have somebody there 9 to 5 to do the business front. Then you might have a grand opening, have, whatever it is, a giveaway, donuts, all the good stuff, right? So are you going to do press releases, in the local news, in whatever local platforms you have? Again, like I said, in Utah, KSL is a big one. And then your advertising campaigns on social media, on Google, those kinds of things. I'm going to run the 15% off special on Facebook for Google Ads. This is the stuff you want to get down on paper. So then you just start at the top and you work your way down. So then we'll do your final setup. track everything, make sure what we expected is working, make sure our pricing is set right, that we're not losing it, that we're not spending more money on gas and things like that, advertising, than we are making customers, right? So you got to create an initial budget. You're going to go through, you're going to adjust that budget. So startup costs, right? So I need $5,000 for equipment. Like I said, I'm going to buy a little trailer with a lawnmower or whatever on it. My marketing for social media, things like that. And then my initial supplies. Do we need, weed whacker line? Do we need actual gas and gas cans? Do we need gloves, safety glasses? Your uniforms for your guys, whether that be a t-shirt or maybe they just wear their own stuff, whatever it is. Obviously, logoed stuff, more professional, people care. So ongoing expenses, wages, supplies, again, gas. If you're running trucks, if you're doing lawnmowers, you're going to have a gas bill every single month. Every job is going to have some kind of gas attached to it, right? So, and then you project a monthly income. How many customers are you going to have? How much are they going to be charged? Approximately how much money is that going to bring you back, right? So that's your kind of basic budget for getting started. You might not have a good idea, again, if you're that 18-year-old guy who's going to have a single lawnmower in the back of a small Chevy and, you're just going to go mow one or two, then, this is even more simple because, your startup costs are a lot smaller, right? Your expenses, you don't have a bunch of employees, things like that. And then your monthly incomes, I can do 4 lawns a day for, 7 days a week, 6 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever it is. So I can make money until I can hire my first guy, and then we can do 8 lawns a day, right? So setting up your financial goals, short-term, long-term goals, that's going to be with everything, not just your finances. This action plan is that, right? We're setting up our goals. Having them written down makes a huge difference. Like I talked about earlier, hearing it, writing it, seeing it, it makes a difference. It makes it real. It makes you believe, right? This is not hard. You can do it. Just follow the plan. So then set up your accounting. Like I said, QuickBooks is a big one for me. I love QuickBooks, but there are other accounting services out there. There are different point of sales, invoicing. You can have multiple that integrate into each other, but QuickBooks really is just an all-around great program. So you want to do that. And then you're going to track your expenses, right? This is done through this, right? So at first, you always want to focus on your expenses, but at first, you really want to make sure, am I spending what I said I would spend on gas? Did the truck that I planned on purchasing come in over or under? How do we need to adjust our budget, right? Because your budget's going to be so much tighter. You're not going to have a lot of wiggle room when you first start. So monitor your cash flow, track your expenses regularly. How often are you going to do that? You're going to do it weekly, you're going to do it monthly, those kinds of things. So a referral program, $20 off for each referral to their neighbors, right? If their neighbor comes and tells them how great their lawn looks and they go, oh yeah, I'm using, ABC Lawn Care. You should use them. They're fantastic. You can schedule line, blah, blah, blah. Then they get $20 off on their next service. So it's an advantage for them to talk about your company, right? It also makes them use your service more. So setting expansion goals. What are you planning on doing to expand your service? Are you going to add locations? Are you just going to scale? Are you going to add more guys, more trucks, more? What are you going to do, right? So, for me, I want to add 2 more team players by year 2, and I want to expand my service area into Provo, right? So Provo is, another county down south from Salt Lake. It's further out. Obviously, it's going to require more gas and things like that, but maybe, we open a second location or whatever it is that we do to expand into that, right? So expand service area to Provo by next year. And then evaluate your customer feedback. The biggest thing in business is making your customers happy, right? You're providing a valuable service for them. And if they don't find value in it, then they're going to go somewhere else. So getting their feedback is huge. Like I have here, continuously seek feedback and improve services based on customers' needs. If, you offer a fertilization program and 9 out of 10 of your customers don't like something about that particular fertilizer, whether it be a color, a smell, who knows. Obviously, you're going to want to look at maybe other types of fertilizer, other brands of fertilizers, so that they're not mad about every time you come to fertilize their home, right? So feedback is huge. Knowing what product you're providing, if it's working or not, is big, right? So how are you going to evaluate customer feedback? And then review and adjust. That's where we do, monthly progress reports, sit down with myself, go through all the finances, see how things are doing, see how my customers seem to be happy, not happy, what they need improved. And then, after you do monthly ones, you can do quarterly ones. This can be evaluations with your program, your business, but also your employees, And then year end, how did you do? Did you meet your goals? Did you hit that budget? What do we need to do next year? Things like that. The conclusion here is this is a step-by-step guide that's going to help you get through the process of launching your company, right? This is just the beginning. In our paid, there's so much more. Every single step, there's so much to every step that you can milk out every little bit and really make some money on this stuff. But this is the basic. It's going to break down all the tasks, make it manageable, help you keep focused and organized, get to where you need to open those doors. So check it all out. If you have any questions, as always, hit me up in DM, comments, anything like that. And both these worksheets are available. The blank worksheet as well as this example worksheet are at the bottom just below the video here. Reference them, print them out, write on them, write all over them. Like I said, that's what these worksheets are for. I think a fantastic idea is to get a 3-ring binder with the clear page protectors. Once you get these filled out, put them in there so you can reference them when you're doing your stuff online and when you're doing, like after you do your logo design and you get your colors and everything like that. When you have all this written down, what your slogan is, things like that, it's so much easier to reference, right? We'll go over saving things on your computer when you're first starting things up, but having this as a quick reference when you're doing your LLC to open up and look at your executive summary, to look at your business plan and be able to fill this stuff out is huge. Put notes, use the margins, whatever you need to do. Like I say, hit me up if you need it. Have a good day.